The 2026 range of Ibanez electric guitars has had some incredibly impressive models. I've already been lucky enough to try the fantastic AS7328 baritone semi-hollow. I've tried the wonderfully versatile AR625 Artist Series model, but this is the third of the guitars from the new lineup that really caught my eye. And finally, I have one here at home to try. It's the Ibanez Standard Iceman IC420MFM. Now, you'll probably know that a couple of years ago, Ibanez released an affordable Iceman. There's videos of that elsewhere on my channel as well. And there's a couple of key changes that really make this 2026 model worth your time, or at least I think so. And in this video, I'm going to take you through every facet of this guitar. I'll start by telling you about the specs and the features. Then I'm going to play it for you in as many different musical styles as I can manage. And afterwards, I'll give you some of my own personal in-depth opinions about this guitar. Ibanez Germany sent this one to me to make this video with, and I don't have it for that long, but I've been playing it almost non-stop during the few days that I've had it, and there's quite a lot to say about it. So stick around for those opinions, and if you'd like, timestamps to everything is going to be down there in the description and the comments if you'd like to move to a part of the video that suits you best. But let's kick things off with the specs, the features, everything you need to know about this guitar. So this is a made in China Iceman, and as of time of filming, it's February 2026. This will set you back €749, 659 Great British pounds, or 999 US dollars. So sub $1,000, that makes it currently an affordable mid-range guitar, and being Ibanez, I think you get an awful lot for your money. And there's a couple of key features here that really differentiate this guitar from the previous Iceman models from a couple of years ago. The first, you've probably noticed, we've got a maple fingerboard here, and the second is that we've got an ultra low gloss finish on this guitar, which almost feels like a satin finish. It almost feels and looks a bit like a nitro guitar finish as well, and you can possibly see it on the top there. We've got a flame maple caramel burst low gloss finish on this guitar, by the way. And if I move us to the back, you can see there it's an Akume body, and I can give you some close-up images so you can really see, hopefully, how thin the poly finish on this guitar is. I think that's a great thing to have. One of the slight downsides of the 2024 Iceman for me was that you had a poly finish on the back of the neck, and I prefer a satin finish if I can get one. And this super thin finish on this one here is definitely a major upgrade, at least for me, in terms of the playability stakes. And I love that we've got it on the body as well. Presumably this means that these guitars are going to age very nicely and quicker than your standard thicker applied poly finishes would as well. So that's a super cool thing to have. I love the flame maple finish on this guitar as well. It's a really classy looking thing. And that maple fingerboard is something that before I saw the guitar in person, I kind of didn't really like it much. Personally, I'm a rosewood or ebony fingerboard guy if I can get one. But when you see this in person, it looks fantastic, and it fits in so well with the overall aesthetic of the guitar. Now, coming back to the body, we've got binding on the body as we have on the neck as well, and on the front here we've got a bunch of Ibanez stuff going on too. The eagle-eyed among you will have noticed that we've got gold hardware, nice little bit of bling for you there as well, and we've got a pair of Ibanez's iconic Super 80 passive ceramic humbucking pickups. Yes, those with the flying fingers on the pickup covers. These are iconic pickups that you'll know from the hard rock and heavy metal genres, and well, we're going to test them out in all their facets in this video. A three-way selector switch to move between them, a volume and a tone control for each of the pickups as well, and the bridge and the tailpiece are also Ibanez's own. We've got the Gibraltar Performer bridge and the Quick Change 3 tailpiece, which makes changing strings an absolute doddle. Now, moving around to the back of the guitar, and you can again see that really thinly applied finish on the Akume body. Looks really expensive to me. It looks like an expensive Les Paul sort of mahogany body, but of course it's an Iceman, so it's huge. And we've got a big tummy cut here, and going back round to the front, that Iceman body in all its glory. This huge bulbous lower horn, this almost a little bit kind of like a rounded off Gibson Explorer sort of a vibe going on. It was one of Ibanez's first original designs, and it's such an awesome and instantly recognizable guitar. But that's the body, and as we move up to the neck, we can bask in the glory of this wondrous maple fingerboard. It's a really cool looking thing, and like I said, as soon as I saw it in the flesh, it just felt right on this guitar. The neck itself is Akume. Again, we've got the same sort of cherry red finish as the back of the body as well, and we've got the low gloss finish here too. It almost feels like a nitro finish. It's super smooth, super slinky. It feels absolutely fantastic, and I would really urge you to try one of these out if you ever get the chance. Now the neck profile here is going to be Ibanez's kind of Iceman sort of neck profile. It's not super thin by any means, neither is it super fat. It's kind of a modern standard sort of a C. So if you love their wizard necks, it's a lot chunkier than that, but this is not a chunky neck by any means, and I think all hands will find themselves at home with this neck profile. Now we've got a 43mm nut here. The scale length is 24¾ inches. That's Gibson scale length, 628mm, and the fingerboard radius on the maple board is going to be 305mm. That's 12 inches, so fairly flat, but not too flat. And we've got these awesome block inlays with an abalone flourish at the 12th fret as well. So it's a wonderful looking guitar. The neck is bound as well. And moving up to the headstock, you'll probably all recognize that gigantic Ibanez Iceman headstock by now. That's finished in black on this guitar, and we've got a set of Ibanez's own tuners on the back of the headstock. So this guitar, made in China, like I said, comes with a gig bag, will set you back less than $1,000. Seems like decent value for money, doesn't it? Well, how does it perform? How does it sound? How does it feel? And how does it play? Well, it's time to play the Iceman now. Now my rig for today's sound test is going to be my Hughes & Kettner Black Spirit 200 amplifier. We'll use the amp's clean channel and a range of my favourite overdrive and distortion pedals to really put these Super 80 humbuckers through their paces. We'll start with clean, we'll progressively get more and more gain into the equation, and we'll end up in drop D, just seeing how well we can do modern metal with the Iceman. A guitar like this looks like it's predestined for metal and hard rock genres and stuff like that, but as I've proved in previous videos, an Iceman is kind of like a Les Paul with a different shape, so it should be able to cover a vast array of musical ground. But let's put that to the test now. We'll play the 2026 Ibanez Maple Iceman, and we'll speak in a bit more detail about it afterwards. Okay then, so that was the 2026 Ibanez Maple Iceman, as I'm calling it, and I hope you enjoyed the playing, the riffs and the tones. Please leave me your thoughts down there telling me what you think of this guitar. Could you see yourself playing an Iceman? Is it just too huge and too kind of rock and roll looking for you? Are you someone who prefers something more classic like a Strat or a Les Paul? Or is this a guitar that you could see adding to your setup? Let me know your thoughts as ever, and I look forward to getting a bit of a discussion going as we always do. But now it's time for me to tell you my thoughts and opinions about this guitar. As soon as I saw this during the launch of the 2026 Ibanez range, I knew I had to try this guitar. I absolutely love the 2024 Ibanez Iceman, but the low gloss finish on this guitar really swung me, and I also really wanted to try out this maple board and see how different it would be to the Jatoba fingerboard on the 2024 version. And finally, I've got this one just on loan for a few days to make this video, so it's got to go straight back, but I've been playing it so much in that time, and I have so much to say about it. So let's kick things off with my first impressions. I actually saw this model in person, in the flesh, for the first time at the 2026 NAMM show in Los Angeles, California, and I was struck by it straight away. It's a wonderful looking thing, and any of the doubts that I had about how good a maple board would look on an Iceman were dispelled instantly. It's a fantastic looking guitar, and it looked great among the rest of the Iceman models as well. So that was fantastic. And then I got the one sent to me here at my home in Europe, and it's got the big chunky standard Iceman box, and then inside the box you get that pretty decent, fairly well padded gig bag as well, which is a great touch, I think, to have as well. Obviously, if you've got an Iceman guitar and you don't have a hard case, and if you don't have a gig bag for it, it's not the easiest thing to do to find one which works. So to get one included in the package for the €750 or $999 asking price is, I think, a really decent touch. So well done, Ibanez, for that. And upon getting the guitar out of the gig bag, I was struck by how nice the weight on this specific one is. Icemen are actually huge guitars. They make you look much smaller than you actually are, and you would expect them all to be reassuringly heavy. And this guitar has a decent weight to it, but it's a fantastic weight, I think, as well. This specific one weighs in at 3.57 kilograms. That's about £7.13, so under £8 for a guitar like this with an Akume body and neck, and the size of the Iceman is a fantastic thing, and I'm really, really impressed with it. And just like the other Iceman guitars I've tried, it's fantastically ergonomic, and it balances really well whether you're sat down with it on your knee or whether you're standing up and using a guitar strap as well. So fantastic first impressions in terms of the weight, and I was already won over by the looks at NAMM, but this one just looks fantastic as well. It's got a really nice, slightly understated flame maple finish. The binding on the body and the neck looks great. That maple board looks fantastic too. I just wanted to get stuck in and start letting the riffs fly off my fingers with this guitar. But I did a first little check as well to check the build quality, and as I've expected from Ibanez over the past few years, this guitar is absolutely flawless. Now, they do say on their own website that due to the nature of the ultra thin finish used on this model, some unevenness on the wooden surfaces and binding may be present and is considered normal. I'm really interested to see how this guitar with its ultra thin finish is going to age. Is it going to age like a nitro guitar? Is it going to age like a poly guitar? Who knows, but I'm here for it. And if you've got one of these, let me know in the comments in 6 months and in a year's time how yours is aging. But in terms of the rest of the build quality of this guitar, well, the setup is fantastic. All of the electronics and the hardware do their job just exactly as they should. No problems whatsoever. 2 thumbs up again for the build quality. And when it comes to the playability, well, I now know what I'm getting with the Iceman. I was so surprised at how well the 2024 model that I had played. That was the first Iceman that I'd really experienced for more than a couple of minutes. But they're such ergonomic guitars, and despite being really large in terms of the body, they're incredibly comfortable to play. And you've got a really nice modern C-shaped neck on this one, combined with the new low gloss or satin finish on this neck, and it's an absolute joy to play. A really comfy guitar, and you'd have no problem using this for an entire gig or sat down for hours on end. It's just really, really comfy, and it plays so well. So if you're like me, and before you tried an Iceman, you were kind of skeptical about it, give it a try, and you might be won over in the way that I was as well. Now, the next thing that we have to come to is probably the crucial thing, and that is the tones. How good does the 2026 Iceman sound? And again, I already know these pickups. I know these Super 80 ceramic humbuckers, and because of the whole Iceman aesthetic and because of these flying fingers humbuckers, you would expect this guitar to be outstanding for heavy rock and metal and down-chewed dirty sort of tones. And it does excel for that, but it's a bit more like a classic Les Paul too, in that it's a supremely versatile instrument as well. You'll have heard on the clean channel of my amp that the pickups do break it up a little bit, especially that bridge humbucker, but these pickups are perhaps not quite as hot as you might expect, and they're great for classic genres as well. Using my Greer Lightspeed overdrive, I got some wonderful indie and alternative rock tones with not too much gain going on, and using the Crazy Tube Circuit's Heat Seeker for some Marshall tones, we got some cracking AC/DC and Airbourne type classic rock riffs going on. Fantastic for those tones as well. When we went up to higher gain stuff, again, that is where this guitar lives and is at home for sure, and I used my Joyo Uzi pedal for the hard rock tones in this video. Now the Uzi is supposed to be kind of a clone of something like the Friedman BE overdrive pedal, and it's an incredibly cheap pedal as well, about 50 bucks or something like that, but it just sounded fantastic with this guitar, so I had to use it in this video. And for the hard rock stuff and for the punk rock stuff, this guitar, these pickups and that pedal together just sounded wonderful. For fast palm muted power chord chugging for the pop punk and the Green Day sort of stuff, it was absolutely fantastic. Super tight, bundles of clarity for that as well. And when we did the hard rock stuff, well, it just works. Glam rock as well, no problem. Alternative rock, absolutely wonderful too. And then we used the Rev G3 and went down to drop D and we played some proper metal stuff, and this guitar sounds absolutely massive for that. Again, loads of crispness and clarity, but these are really evil, mean sounding pickups for metal, and they really hammer it home for me that with this guitar, with the Iceman, you can do everything from pristine, jazzy 50s and 60s clean tones all the way through to 2026 modern progressive metal and beyond. And I would absolutely challenge you not to be able to find your favorite sound within the Ibanez Iceman. So it's a fantastic sounding guitar in every respect. And again, 2 thumbs up for this guitar in the tonal stakes. Now, if you've been watching this video and you're wondering what else could be out there that could rival this guitar in terms of the design, the style, the kind of value for money in 2026, well, the first thing that you should look at would be the other standard Icemen in the Ibanez range. They're all going to be made in China options at the moment, and they're all going to be similar sorts of prices. Now, the blue 2024 model that I still have with the Jatoba fingerboard has a thicker poly finish to it on the neck and on the body as well. That's going to be about 50 bucks less than this one, so very much in the range of the affordable. If you want to buy different Iceman models, those are still pretty hard to come by. You're going to have to go for something vintage or maybe a Paul Stanley signature model. I'm really hoping that in the future Ibanez are now going to build a premium Iceman model. I think this guitar with a rosewood or an ebony board and maybe some locking tuners, and I would have found my absolutely perfect Iceman. Hopefully that's coming in 2027 or 2028, because I would absolutely love that. But if you're into this kind of design, this kind of guitar, I think you're probably edging more towards heavier styles of music generally, and you're probably going to want to look at something like an Epiphone or maybe even a used Gibson Explorer or a Flying V or something like that. But again, don't overlook the fact that this guitar is actually a cracking Les Paul style of instrument in very different looking clothing, and it can do so many things similar to a great Les Paul. So if you're looking for something similar to this, which is not quite so cumbersome in terms of body size, well, check out something like a modern day Les Paul style of instrument. That's always going to be comparable in terms of tones to this guitar, and it's really in the looks where they differ. But I think at the end of the day, you'll choose which one works best for you. And if the Iceman suits you, and if you're like me and you kind of think, well, that's a really awesome body style and I don't have it in my collection, you really owe it to yourself to try one of these out. At the end of the day, I'm hugely impressed with the 2026 iteration of the Ibanez Iceman. I was won over straight away by the maple fingerboard as soon as I saw it, and I think the real starring feature of this guitar is that low gloss satin finish, which feels like nitro to me. It makes the neck on this model even more playable than the neck on the already supremely playable 2024 Iceman, so Ibanez have leveled it up in that respect, and I wasn't really sure that that was going to be possible for this price. And like I've just said, stick a rosewood or ebony board on this and locking tuners, and I've got my dream Iceman at some point in the future. Now, like I said, if you've ever got the chance to try one of these out, please do it. It might open your eyes to a new type of guitar, and if you already love the Iceman, well, you should probably already be considering ordering one of these. But anyway, I hope that this video has answered all of the questions that you may have had about the 2026 Ibanez Maple Iceman. If there's anything else you'd like to know though, drop me a line down there in the comments and I shall do my best to answer you. And I've only got this guitar for a couple of days, but I am going to try and do a cheeky comparison between it and the 2024 Iceman as well. Does the maple board make a difference compared to the Jatoba board? Does the thicker poly finish on the 2024 Iceman make a difference compared to the low gloss, almost satin finish on the 2026 version? Well, I think you know the answer to those things, but stick around if you'd like to see that comparison. That will be coming up in the next few weeks, I hope. Now, if you'd like to watch any of my other 2026 Ibanez videos, there's going to be one on the AS7328 baritone, there's one of the new RGs, there's one on the new AR625 artist model, which is a fantastic guitar as well. Some of those should be appearing on screen right about now. Give me a like and a sub if you haven't already. But that's been it for today. I've been Rich, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye for now.